Thank you for being there for us this day on the economy today. Again, it's just all that has to do with the economy we want to discuss, the things that will make things better for us. Also this week we've spent some time talking about the trends of things that we've found in the economy, the current trends, and that's why even today we'll be talking with somebody that is a manufacturer. But may I also stress straight away that the micro, medium, small and medium scale enterprises, that it's their day also, because they are the ones being celebrated. Yesterday and today, that's what it's been. And so I pray that it will be well with all of them, the micro, medium, small and medium enterprises. We would have really had time to spend with Smedan today, but it didn't work out. But then no problem, we still have a manufacturer in the person of Dr. Adigun that will be with us via Zoom, of course, today on the program. Okechukwu Onubogu here for you, and I want to say thank you for being there for us. We want to let you know that there are certain trends too that have to do with these MSMEs. That is what I mentioned, the medium, the macro, small, medium enterprises. Some of them have talked about the fact that someone has mentioned it, and it's been mentioned clearly that the MSMEs are critical to economic growth and to security. In actual fact, is the vice president that mentioned that and said something about it, and so that shows you how important the MSMEs are, how important they are when it comes to the economy of the land. The vice president mentioned this and says that they are very critical to the growth of our economy and even the security. So it's important that we think about them. There are generations, that is the way of things, people that have raised money, generated funds to help lift the economy, make it better, some of which we will talk about as we go on. Telecom operators also, they have engaged the NDPC over planned levy hike. You know, the hike in telecom operation is not just only the hike in the electricity tariff that we're talking about now. There is also a plan to hike the levy for telecom operators, and if it happens to the telecom operators, they of course will have to increase the price of what they sell, and that means getting recharge cards and things like that will get to be higher. That which would have achieved with a 1,000 naira recharge card could be slashed to become what it will be for 500 or 750, as the case may be. And so these are all important things that we need to mention as we go on in these things today on the program. Thank you one more time. Okechukwu Onubogu one more time saying stay with us. Let's just observe a break, and we'll return to getting our man for the program today. Yes, and we're here again and to discuss the things that have to do with the economy today. Is with me on the Zoom that's talking about bringing Dr. Dele Adigun. Let's have Dr. Adigun and say welcome to him. Dr. Adigun,
thank you for
good to have you on the program today.
Nice being with you. Thank you so very much.
Yes, sir. You are are a manufacturer and they are talking about things that have to do with you people almost throughout this week, and particularly the MSMEs that are being celebrated. How do you feel about that?
Well, what do we say? We are happy we are being celebrated, but there are a lot of issues to be fixed in order for the celebration to be sweet. There are a lot of issues MSME are grappling with, and unless these issues are fixed, we cannot celebrate as much as we would have wanted it to be.
Okay. Now, there are things we need to handle, sir. And that is to say, just as you mentioned, you said that there are certain things, a lot of issues that need to be handled. Can you let us into some of them?
Thank you very much. They are not issues that we already don't know in Nigeria, but compounded by a lot of variables that are making life unbearable for manufacturers in Nigeria, starting from issues like electricity, security, and general basic infrastructure that make manufacturers comfortable in any environment. Those are the issues we are grappling with. And government policies too, kind of muzzling us out of a business, like the tax policies, these levies, harassment from local government, and all manners of burdens imposed on the MSME. These are the issues that are making us very uncompetitive. And since it is open market, people who import from anywhere in the world, so we are facing competition, stiff competition from foreign products. And grappling with all these that add to the cost of a production here are making us uncompetitive in this part of the world.
Okay. Let's look at, first of all, the multiple taxation that you mentioned. Normally, the government should have a way to control that. But I don't know, because I have seen different forms of, let me begin with the ones I see on the road. You see that someone is charged for one thing, another body comes to ask for the same thing, and another comes. That is multiple taxation. But concerning you and your own, what do you people do as manufacturers? In fact, let's talk about the bigger picture. The manufacturers as a whole, whether it's the medium, small, or macro, or the very large ones. What do you people do? What have you done to ensure that the government will listen to you? Because if the government doesn't listen, this will continue. What on your part has the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria and the others under them done?
The Manufacturers Association, I know very much, have been doing a lot, and they have been talking and they have been fighting a lot of issues. You see, when we have problem, it's not even about the taxes, but multiplicity of taxes that is not even known to anybody. Like when you look at the charges local government often bring, you don't even understand it. So many manner of taxes that are not known to the statute book. We don't know anything about it. Somebody will just wake up one day and think that yes, these manufacturers should be made to pay this levy. All those things are making life very, very miserable for us. They are not making things predictable. It's really affecting our businesses. If it were the known tax laws, like when you talk of company income tax, education tax, and some other taxes, those ones are known. But the major problem is the levies at the local government level. You don't know the manner, and the method of even collection of these taxes is so crude that you have a lot of miscreants jumping on the road and stopping production, and they come to your factory with all manners of dogs. So these are issues that are really, really affecting us. We have made effort to meet with some of the local government chairmen, but what we find out is that they will listen, but they will listen to us, but later you see them again sending, maybe you call them contractor or consultant, who barely even understand what the method of collection of taxes is. So they create a lot of a problem. These are the problems we are having with the tax system. No transparency, no clear cut, no space. You cannot predict that these are the taxes that we pay. So this is where we have the problem.
Okay. The other thing that we also consider as you go on is that I also got to know about the imported goods that are contesting seriously against you people or with you people for the customers. And sometimes you look at it and see that these imported products, they are not just so wonderful to be compared with what you have, but because they are imported, and our people seem to, majority of our people seem to think of external imported products more than what they think about the homemade products. It happens that it's difficult for you people. But I know that there are some products that are produced here in the country that are even better than the ones that are produced outside. That is especially for the climate of Nigeria. I know of one. I know of cables, that Nigerian-made cables are better than the foreign ones for those who are wiring houses for people and all that. So you know better than myself. There are many others. You can tell us about them. I know also of tomato pastes that we are using, and even these ones that we have seen, Risco, Sonia, and so on and so forth. Many of their names, I may not remember all of them. What do you think?
Yes, thank you very much. Honestly, I can tell you on good authority and free of charge that products by members of Manufacturers Association can compete anywhere, and they meet the standard expected of any product to compete anywhere in the world. But where we become uncompetitive is in the area of cost. Cost of production here is very high when you compare with foreign products. But you see, some of these foreign products, some of them are even expired products by the time they get here. So you can see we have better products. You have just cited the issue of wire and cable. There are so many other products that Nigerian products are far better than the foreign products. But well, I will not, Nigerians and customers generally want to prefer products that are very cheap when it comes to prices. That is the area we are not able to compete. We should be able to compete if our cost of a production that is competitive, just like the foreign product. You cannot compare us with an environment where electricity or power supply is stable, where they have good roads, where all manner of taxes are not imposed, things are transparent. By the time you look at the cost build-up of a product, and you want to compare it with foreign products, you will discover that we will be at a great disadvantage. Why people are preferring patronizing foreign products is not necessarily because they are foreign products, but because of the cost, because of the price. They appear a little bit cheaper, but the danger in that is that these products, some of them, before they get here, are expired. and some of them are not even up to the standard they claim to be produced to. So these are some of these, particularly in the SME category. I can tell you, members of MANS, their products are competitive in terms of quality, but the problem is in the area of the pricing.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Dele Adigun. And the things that have to do with this must be continuous. I mean, the fight must be continuous. You can't just stop midway, because if you do, it means that we have lost out entirely. For me, as an individual, I know that I take delight in enjoying homemade products each time I look at them, because most of the time, even biscuits, you find out that even gets to that level that some biscuits that are produced, sold in supermarkets and other markets, you find some of them that are the foreign ones moving faster than the local. But, you know, in some occasions, we have had stories of people changing the expiry dates on the products. And if an ordinary person doesn't understand and buys, anything can happen. As it is with just these biscuits I've mentioned, so is it with drugs, medicines manufactured abroad, brought in, and people are buying. The ones here are, in most cases, better than what we have from those outside. Because of this expiry date thing, it could happen. And that's why some people would lose their lives unnecessarily. Well, it's a good thing that we're talking about it today and this period. Let it be among the things you will include in your representations to the government and everyone concerned. Everyone concerned. Now, there are some other things around us. I'm bringing two things together now. There are some other things around us that could be the things that will hamper the easy flow of activities for you manufacturers. Please, can we have what you people think about the infrastructure around your business premises and how to help you get out? Of course, infrastructure includes roads, electricity supply, water, and all that. What do you think about that, sir?
In fact, you have touched on everything that affect manufacturers. The basic facilities like the electricity, good road, water supply are provided by each of these MSMEs. You can now see the cost of doing business increasing. In other climes, all these facilities are available. Bring in your plant, plug in, and start producing. That is the way it is in other clients. But here, we are not so lucky to have those kind of facilities. We have to provide all of this on our own. And all these we had to cost of doing business. If you are not strong enough, particularly the MSME, you will not be able to survive or compete. These are some of the things we are representing before the government. We are not even only looking at that. That is just an aspect that we know are difficult. Some of us are making effort to even contend with this. Build your road, you provide your electricity. Like in my factory, I ran about 1.5 kilometers of electricity supply to my plant, all on my own. The line, everything I did. The same thing I did for the road. So by the time you now look at the cost of investment, it's really, really prohibitive and not so comfortable for MSMEs. Where we then now added by unpredictable taxes or the tax system in the country, it makes life a little bit very difficult. Then government often make promise of a financial support because one of the principal issues that is facing MSME is financing, that is fund. fund for raw material, fund for expansion, and all those stuff. They are not readily available here. Where government make pronouncement recently, I think the federal government promised 75 billion to manufacturers in the country. A single company, I'm talking of large enterprises, can take the entire 75 million. So it's far cry from what the manufacturer really need in the country. And even method of disbursement, we don't understand it. I can tell you for free that nobody has been granted anything out of the 75 billion we are talking about. So government really need to look at the policies they are making to make life easy for manufacturers and find a way to make sure it truly gets to the manufacturers.
Okay. Now, that's something good that you're doing, because the fact that you're presenting it to the government, like this one you mentioned about the billions of naira that they offered, but then if you keep talking, as you just said, it's a far cry, you need to return to the government and tell them that something more ought to be done. You know, that way, let's see what comes out of it. What about the bank that has to do with business people in Nigeria? What is the relationship? What relationship does a man have with the bank? Yeah, Dr. Adigun. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I was saying, what relationship does the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria and other manufacturing bodies have with the bank that is supposed to help businesses in Nigeria? Have you entered into any agreement, anyhow, bilateral, whatever, to help your members through the loans and grants that could come from the bank?
What is the rate of return on what do you get? What is your rate of return on your product? And what rate are you asking to come and pay for interest? If you are paid, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Yeah, interest of between 25 or let me say between 21 and 29% cannot work for a manufacturer. And the government bank, that is the Bank of Industry that is put in place, their rate looked a bit a little attractive, between I think 9 and 10%. But these facilities are not easily accessible. It is so difficult to access Bank of Industry facility. That's the only one that is close to being friendly to manufacturers. But for the commercial banks, it is extremely difficult. It's like one is signing his debt warrant to go and look for commercial bank loan. Yeah, because the rates for manufacturers, I'm not talking of traders, but for manufacturers, it is a very, very difficult thing to do. In other clients, those are the things that work for them. You access commercial bank to
well, we'll still get back to that. And talking about that Bank of Industry and the relationship with the manufacturers is important, because I know that of the commercial banks, they are out there to make their money the way they ought to. But the Bank of Industry in particular, and any other bank that would act like them, we need to know how they are relating with you in all you do. Do we still have Dr. Adigun with us? Okay, we'll still go on until we get to have him back, so we'll conclude that side of the story. The banks in Nigeria are commercial banks that are supposed to do their work to make money the way they ought to. But when the Bank of Industry, that is mainly for industries, just as the name implies, for manufacturers, would assist the people, the manufacturers, it will help a whole lot in ensuring that the basic things that are needed for these companies to excel will be there for them. And so it's important that we think about that. It will also help to reduce the problems that they have, that the manufacturers have, going cap in hand to banks to ask for money. Just as Dr. Adigun said, that will be a signing of death warrant. We're not supposed to go through such pain so as to get money to do business that will help both the man, the individual doing the business, and the people in the society. So it's important. I would have loved to find out more from Dr. Adigun. Even this importation of products, especially products that are readily available, readily manufactured at home, shouldn't there be something serious to be done to ensure that it doesn't happen that way anymore? If we still have him around, I will want to present these questions to him as we go on. And while we wait for that, I also mentioned that the loans from 21% to 29% definitely is truly signing of the death warrant, and this is what no one will pray to have. Nobody will pray to have such a death warrant signed. Coming to the central bank too, the central bank has said that recapitalization will create stronger and more resilient banks. We need stronger and more resilient banks in our country. If recapitalization will do that work, so be it, because that way it will help lift the economy, which is the major thing we need in Nigeria. And we've been told that Nigeria is plagued with by influx of substandard imported products. And the body that is saying this would really go for them and look for them and let them come and explain some more, is the Standards Organization of Nigeria. And it says that 80% of products that are imported are substandard. So who permits them to come in? The Standards Organization of Nigeria would need to let us more about that. Who permits these things to come in? Who gives licenses to people who bring them in? And who inspects the things they are bringing in to ensure that they are, even from the port, from where they manufacture and bring into the country, at that point, that it is the real standard that are imported into the country. Not just when they come in here and we see them and they get to be seized and eventually destroyed. That's secondary. But the primary thing should be that the SON, that is Standards Organization of Nigeria, will be able to send to ensure that from the point at which they are coming in, that we do not have such substandard goods and products brought into our country. I have been told that by a manufacturer, I must say by a manufacturer, that some of our people, some of our manufacturers, since it's now easier or cheaper, if you like, to bring such things into the country and sell, have chosen to travel. They go to foreign land, of course I don't want to mention any country, and they go there and give specifications for the goods they want manufactured, and then these goods are manufactured. And I was told that there are 3 different standards, or we gather that there are 3 different standards. There is the first standard, which is the standard that could be sold in that country and people would accept. Then the second standard is the one that would be sold not within the country, but any other place in the world. And the third one is the standard that must be sold only to our people, Nigerians, that are the ones that have brought these things there. They will make sure that the products are exported totally, completely out of their country, exported out of their country into our country. And those products are brought in here and our people purchase, and we're told by standards of Ministry of Nigeria that they are of low standard. If a manufacturer or if some manufacturers have revealed this, we respect that the standards of Ministry of Nigeria and the other bodies that are saddled with this responsibility would go outside and confront these ones who will bring these things and check to ensure that it's exactly the way it ought to be that is done, and that way it is brought into our country. Oh well, we will still talk more about this, but before then, let's observe another break at a time like this. I have been before now talking with Dr. Adigun and of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, but we'll still return. Right now, let's take this break. Yeah, welcome back. And we also have Dr. Adigun back again, so we'll be rounding up with him. Dr. Adigun, I hope you can hear us, and of course you're seeing us. At a time like this, we'll say welcome back, Dr. Adigun. The central bank has talked about things they want to do to make the situations better. I don't know whether the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria gets to also meet with them once in a while, so that they will know your own side of the story when it comes to the way it goes between you and banks and bankers.
But we should praise Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, particularly the executive, the DG. Is always interfacing with all the stakeholders in the manufacturing business in Nigeria, at least on behalf of the manufacturer, on behalf of the members of the association. They are doing everything possible to make life easier, particularly for interfacing with the banks. But you know, majority of the banks too are there on commercial basis.
Yes.
The only one that we can put a lot of pressure at the development banks, like the Bank of Industry, and that Bank of Industry are supposed to be our partner because we are manufacturers.
Yes.
And I think they are set up to finance or to assist the real sector of the economy, particularly the manufacturers. I'm sure the Manufacturers Association is interfacing and is engaging with them on all fronts. But despite that, you know, dealing with government things, there are a lot of rules that look like unbendable. If in other clients, it should be something that is you structure or you make your rule in a way that will make it beneficial to the target customer. This time around, the manufacturers. So I think we still have a lot to do in that regard.
Yes,
so
please. It's important that you still continue. Don't just let it be, no matter what. As you go on, it will help get them to think about you on a much more serious note and start looking for and applying other measures that will help bring down the stress you people go through to ensure that better things happen in our country. By that time you were off, there was something I mentioned, the Standards Organization of Nigeria, mentioning that about 80% of goods imported into the country are substandard. And it makes me think about you people the more. Do we need to bring in substandard things when we have the real quality products being produced by our manufacturers in the country?
In fact, that has a lot of issues to it. we find ourselves in a market that are looking for just any product to fill in the gap, whether inferior, substandard, because of the purchasing power of the people in the. So people care not too much, at least a larger percentage of the population. That reflects the poverty level in the country. Otherwise, no rational person will prefer inferior product, particularly when it comes to food and drugs. You need product that will fit the need, but where that is not available, where that is not reachable, you make do with substandard. But these substandards, I'm telling you, are harmful to the society.
Yes.
But then it's a function of the money. We are making every effort to get them to understand. But at the end of it, government will help us a lot by making the playing field very, very competitive, by addressing some of those issues that add to our costs. So once those ones are done, then the campaign about patronizing
Nigerian-made
products that are even Nigerian products that are superior even to some of the majority of these international products. Don't forget again, you see, we appear not to be getting the good grip of the economy. Whatever we are importing, we are creating employment in other climes.
Yes.
For people there. We are making the taxes that are supposed to be paid by Nigerians, employment that are supposed to be created for Nigerians. We are exporting it. This is the unfortunate thing. We should be able to get our Nigerian youth engaged, and this can only happen through manufacturers. Manufacturers are the people that can employ a lot of people, thereby reducing insecurity. If government can invest, just like they are investing in these security
issues in the country today.
Exactly. If they can invest 50% of that in manufacturing, honestly, the problem of insecurity will go down, will just be solved. Because if you look at it, majority of the raw materials we use are locally sourced, essentially agri products. A lot of people will be engaged usefully in agriculture, and manufacturers will have input to produce competitive products. We will not need to import some of these materials, and we'll be able to conserve our hard-earned foreign exchange. So it doesn't take much. It only takes understanding of the way economy works. It's an interplay of variables that makes us achieve the objective we want to achieve. But this issue of I wouldn't say nonchalant, non-payment of adequate attention to where it should be. Because if you pay attention to manufacturing, you'll be solving so many problems. You'll be able to solve security problem, solve employment problem, address even foreign exchange issues, because we don't need to import what we are competitively producing.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Dr. Adigun, before you leave us on your on a final note, what do you say to your fellow manufacturers, and any message from your body to the consumers in the country within just 2 minutes?
Well, we will just appeal to them to be very discerning of product they consume, particularly in the food subsector, food and drug subsector. We have to pay a little more to get the right thing that will not affect our health. Because if it is food, it affects you, it borders on our health. If it is the drug too, if you consume substandard drugs, it's not addressing anything. we should patronize Nigerian products so as to empower our manufacturers to continue to produce. The more we expand our capacity, then the unit cost of our production will reduce, and we'll be able to compete anywhere in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kamaldeen Dele Adigun, a member of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, an official really, a national official. Thank you so much for finding a time to share with us some of these. And please do give us time next time, because we still want to share more with you. Oblige us anytime we call, so that even sometimes you can come to the studio, so we'll talk better. I know that as we address these things, there will be solutions. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me. All right. And dear viewer, this is where we'll also be wrapping it up for today. It's been great sharing the moments with you, and Dr. Adigun, of course, helping us to understand more as it affects manufacturing and manufacturers, as all such things affect the people, the consumers. Thank you for watching today. Next week will be another time when we will still share for 3 different days, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We will still make effort to be here Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week, even on the program, The Economy Today, and to bring it to you the way they happen. Thanks a lot. Okechukwu Onubogu here. Have a blessed weekend.